Hey there, I'm Kardino, and across all of Nintendo's franchises, there's no doubt that the one with the most spin-offs is Super Mario. You have your sports games, party games, typing tutors, plus some other garbage that no one cares about. But there is one category that is home to some of the most beloved games in the franchise, the RPGs, or JRPGs if you really want to be specific. Now, I'll be the first to admit that I hate repetition, so naturally there are very few games in the genre that I like. However, the Paper Mario series is definitely an exception, and it's been a couple of years since I played the original trilogy. So today, join me as I take a look at Paper Mario for the Nintendo 64 to see what I think of it today. Before we begin, if you find my stuff enjoyable, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you'll know when the other videos come out as well. With all that being said, let's get started. The original Paper Mario game, or as I'll refer to it, Paper Mario 64, was released in 2001 as a successor of sorts to Super Mario RPG, which I'll admit I haven't gotten the chance to play yet. You see, after the game was released, there was some complications with the co-developers, Square Enix. Nintendo wasn't able to make a full-on sequel due to them not owning all of the required properties, so they had to come up with something new. This resulted in two properties being made, the Mario & Luigi games, and the more grandiose Paper Mario. Okay, that's enough history, let's boot this thing up and see how it plays. And as always, I'm proving my irrelevance by playing this on the Wii U Virtual Console. So the game begins with this brief backstory about these 7 dudes hanging out in Star Haven, whose jobs it is to grant people's wishes using the near infinite power of the Star Rod. Bowser finds out about this thing and says,
"Hey, that's pretty good."
He then promptly trounces what must be the most pathetic group of immortals ever and captures their souls. Meanwhile, Mario goes over to Peach's castle with Luigi after getting a party invitation. When he gets there, he hears that Peach got tired of greeting guests and has briefly gone to her private chambers. So like the honorable man he is, he decides to completely ignore the guards and get some quality time alone with the princess. Now, I may be a but I'm pretty sure what happens in these sorts of situations. But before the game can get anywhere near an E10 rating, Bowser crashes the party, now invulnerable thanks to the Star Rod, gives Mario the boot, and changes the Wi-Fi path, captures everyone and sends them to the dungeons. Come to think of it, I don't know which is worse. This is where the real gameplay begins. You travel around the world saving the Star Spirits and defeating Bowser's various minions. Now, one of the most consistent things the original games are praised for is their uniqueness, especially in comparison with the mainline Mario games. And that's certainly true. I can confirm that only 4 of the standard worlds are used here. Okay, maybe that's a bit unfair. While you do visit the standard deserts and grasslands, you also go to more unique worlds like a toy box and a tropical island with a volcano. There are also a ton of memorable missions that occur in these locations too. You face a seemingly invincible monster that eats booze, you go to this amazing ice palace at the edge of the world, and explore flower. Okay, can we just talk about this for a second? Flower Fields is easily my least favorite part of the entire game. For one, it's yet another grass level, which makes 3 of the 9 chapters devoted to grass levels. Secondly, it slows the pace of the game down to a crawl. While in other places you might be exploring ancient ruins or venturing into a volcano at the brink of eruption, here you're just growing a plant. It's as exciting as it sounds. And to top it all off, there's a mandatory maze thrown in too. Nothing screams thoughtful game design quite like a random maze which requires you to consistently check for actual fake walls. Oh, and the reason you're doing all this? There's an evil cloud in the sky keeping the sun from rising. It's not that this is an abomination, but it definitely shows Paper Mario at its worst in my opinion. Okay, so now that my rant is over, what else is notable about Paper Mario? Well, if you ask me, and a whole bunch of other people, it would be the partners. Throughout the game, you'll get a group of individuals with differing personalities and combat skills. For example, Goombario is your first partner and can give you the stats for pretty much any enemy in the game. He's also filled with personality, and will usually make a personal comment when giving you the details on a certain enemy. This guy is truly an excellent partner. The rest of the crew though, not so much. They'll usually give some vague backstory on their life goals and then decide to team up with you. After that, they more or less become tools. For example, take Watt. She's this little spark of electricity, I think, who you free from this random dude's lantern. She's also the daughter of some vague character you met a while back. That's literally all the info we get on her. She makes no significant commentary, hardly speaks after you meet, and more or less just turns into a way to light up dark rooms. Now, this isn't true with a few of the party members. You can go to the post office and receive letters from people that they know, but it's hardly anything to make me care about them. That probably came across worse than I intended. At most, it's just a fun side thing. One thing I will say though, is that it's really cool seeing what would normally be just a regular enemy have a backstory, even if it is minimal. Okay, I think that's enough negativity. Let's talk about one last thing I loved about the game. The game is divided into chapters, wherein there are 2 basic sections. The first is where Mario does a certain list of tasks to get access to the dungeon, and the second half is actually getting to the boss of said dungeon. So in Chapter 1, the first half is going to Koopa Village to save them from a fuzzy epidemic, and in the second half, you grab your new Koopa buddy and head over to the fortress where the Star Spirit is being held. To break up the flow of things, there are segments in between chapters where you play as Peach as she spies around the castle in search of clues in order to help Mario figure out where to go. You might be sneaking into different rooms in a castle, or reading Bowser's secret diary. Additionally, there are some optional quests to do before you start the next chapter as well, like delivering letters, generally being an asshole to Luigi, or exploring the sewers of Toad Town. So yeah, that about covers all the notable differences in the game. In the end, you free the Star Spirits, and through the power of magical BS, you defeat Bowser, take back the Star Rod, and restore the castle to its former state. There's a brief cutscene showing what happens to all your partners after the adventure ends, Peach hosts a celebration at our castle, and the credits roll. Overall, it's a pretty good game with a pretty good story. Sure, it's fairly generic as far as plots go, but it took a lot of steps in the right direction. For one, Bowser actually has a personality, and it really feels like he has motivation for getting revenge on the Star Spirits after they wouldn't grant his wishes. However, the game left a solid foundation for intelligent systems to build upon, and if they played their cards right, they could make something even better. Well, I think we all know how that turned out, but that's a discussion for next time. For the next episode in the Paper Mario trilogy, I'll cover what is considered by many to be the pinnacle of the series, and personally, I can't wait to dive in and see what I think. Hey guys, thanks for checking out the episode and making it all the way to the end. If you enjoyed this video, then maybe consider checking out the rest of my channel. And if you like what you see, consider subscribing and ringing the bell so you won't miss when my next episode goes live. With that said, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.